Have you ever taken the time to look around and notice all the technology that we use in our day-to-day lives? We use electricity to power most of these items regularly, such as your phones, computers, and the lights in your house. Now, most people probably know that electricity is generated in huge power plants, often using fossil fuels, waterfalls, or nuclear material. But did you know that it is actually possible to generate electricity on your own for much smaller applications? Before we get to how we can do this, let's talk a bit about the history of electricity. In the early 1800s, an English physicist by the name of Michael Faraday already knew that when you pass a current through a conductor, it generates a magnetic field around that conductor, so he wondered if the opposite was also true. Is it possible to create a current inside a conductor if the conductor experiences a magnetic field? Turns out that it was. When a conductor experiences a changing magnetic field, it can generate an electric current within it. This discovery was absolutely groundbreaking. More formally, he had discovered that a conductor experiencing a changing magnetic field generated an electromotive force that was responsible for pushing electric charges through the conductor. At the time, the implications of this discovery were most likely not clear. However, as we know today, they were profound.
Wow!
To demonstrate his discovery, he invented a device called the Faraday disc, also known as a homopolar generator, which was the first ever electromagnetic generator. It consisted of an electrically conductive disc in the center of two magnets. When this disc was spun around an axle, there was a measurable amount of current that was generated. He had found an answer to his question. Yes, it was possible to create a current inside a conductor by subjecting it to a changing magnetic field. After this, a whole revolution of technology was sparked. In the late 1800s, use of small engines fueled by kerosene to turn generators allowed for the use of electricity in commercial applications such as power lighting, motors, and much more. In the next century, companies started producing generators which could be used for much smaller applications. They worked in a similar fashion to large-scale generators by converting mechanical energy to electrical energy through the use of small gas engines. Ever since then, we have seen all types of small generators pop up for all types of applications, and the type of mechanical energy that is used to generate electricity depends on the application itself. Let us now take a look at some of these different applications of a very simplistic design consisting of a magnet spinning between conductive materials. Firstly, we have the classic hand crank flashlight that many of us may have seen sometime growing up, whether going camping or just looking around the basement or attic. It consists of a DC motor, which is essentially a magnet with coils of conductive wire around it, and a crank which is attached to that motor. When the crank is spun around our hands, it spins the magnet within the motor, which then induces a current, thus powering LEDs which are connected in the circuit. Next, we have pedal-powered bike lights, which work in a similar fashion. However, its application is to serve as a headlight for a bicycle, and it wouldn't make sense for there to be a hand crank to power it. So the mechanical energy that it uses is the rotational energy of the tire of a bicycle to spin a gear, which spins a small generator or dynamo, which then powers a bright light. Finally, one of the most interesting modern applications of generators is that of regenerative braking in electric vehicles. Normally, when we release the accelerator in a car, it will eventually come to a stop due to the loss of kinetic energy. However, in electric vehicles, there is a way to get back some of this lost kinetic energy. When the accelerator is released in an electric vehicle, the wheels can be connected to another type of generator, which then converts some of the kinetic energy being lost by the car back into electric energy to be stored back into the battery. As you can see, we have come a very long way as a race because of a very simple discovery that allowed us to revolutionize the technology that is used in day-to-day lives.